Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Real Talk with Saieed Ali. I am your host, Saeed. I do want to thank you for joining us tonight, Friday, the 20th of August, 2021. It's Fire Friday tonight, right here on Real Talk with Saieed Ali. So viewers, if it's one thing I always say, every time our show goes live, is to share our Facebook stream. Now, if you're on Facebook, just search Real Talk with Saieed Ali. When it pops up, like it, share it, and let the 5,000 contacts that you have on your Facebook account, you just give them access to Real Talk with Saieed Ali. Encourage them to like it and share it. Now remember viewers, we are the #1 current affairs program in Trinidad and Tobago and the 3rd best news forecast in our beautiful island. So those of you on YouTube, or those of you who haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel as yet, it's very easy. Click on YouTube, type in TT Real Talk. When it pops up, just hit the bell, hit subscribe, and you will know when we go live. So I want to encourage you tonight, folks. Share our live stream. Let your friends and your family, near and far, know about Real Talk with Saieed Ali. So I do want to say a special good night. It's great to be back. Even though I was missing in action for 2 nights, Wednesday and Thursday of this week, nevertheless, I'm alive and kicking. So for those of you who called me and wish me all the best, the good health, after taking the first shot of my AstraZeneca vaccine, I do want to thank you so much. You know, many of you were concerned. I have tons of phone call, messages, email. I do want to thank you so much. But I'm alive by the grace of God. Nothing happened. I just got a little fever, a little muscle pain, and that was it. That was it. As you can see, I'm here on our Friday night show, vibrant as ever. So, now viewers, those of you that are having spiritual problems, feel free to contact me. Those of you who have property to sell or looking for property to buy, you can also contact me. If you are looking for the perfect investment with a big return, if you are looking for a long-term investment with a proper return, if you are looking for an investment for yourselves or your children or your grandchildren, Real Talk Group of Company is offering to you, the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, Real Talk investment. Presently, we are paying up to 3.5%, the highest percentage rate ever paid out in Trinidad and Tobago on any fixed investment. On any fixed investment. So viewers, you can start from 10,000 and go straight up over the millions. It's up to you. You have to know what your pocket can reach. So you can start from 10,000. That's for who into savings. Nothing wrong with that. You have a couple $100,000, you have $2-3 million you want to invest. Not a problem. Not a problem. Everybody knows that Saieed is an established businessman in Trinidad and Tobago with real estate. I'm into my personal security intelligence unit. I have my production running, which costs me a hefty fine over $1 million every 12 months. I don't depend on anyone to invest in this program. I always say it from time to time go by. I don't beg nobody for ad, especially to have Real Talk production functioning, because I don't want nobody to tell me when I reach on my platform, Saieed, you cannot say this and you cannot say it and you cannot say the next. No, keep your opinion to yourself. Because I am funding a program to benefit 1.4 million citizens in Trinidad and Tobago. 1.4 million citizens. People who dwell here, people who born and grow here, outsiders come in and live here. These are the people who I represent. 99% of the people I represent in Trinidad and Tobago is the people who do not have a voice. Is the people when they open their voice, they are muzzled. I, Saieed, represent those people. So if you're looking for the right investment, call us 238-6716, 339-1670, or 267-7325. Our numbers are up on screen. We are located in Caroni Savannah Road in Shogunas, viewers. The best investment you would ever get in your lifetime with the largest amount of return. Who is doing it? I, Saieed, am doing it. Who am I doing it for? For you, the people. Because you would have your investment put down here and 10 years pass and no growth. No growth whatsoever. So you will continue watching it here? You will continue watching it here, or you will take a chance and make an investment and watch your money grow. So contact us, viewers. We are on number 14 Carolina Savannah Road in Shogunas. Our office, business office, are from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. It's great to be back. It's great to be back. For all those of you who thought, well, you know, I took the vaccine and, oh God, he get crippled and he can't come back. He probably dead somewhere. No, I'm right here with the grace of God. I'm right here with the grace of God. I never bad talk the vaccine. All we wanted was the facts. That's all we wanted. That is all we wanted. The government to come clean. That's all. So as we start off our program tonight, Fire Friday, Minister of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs, Dr. Amy Brown, have confirmed that the arrival and the receipts of the shipment of 108 WHO-approved Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccine via the African Medical Supply Platform. The vaccine was brought in on an Amjet flight which landed at Piako International Airport at 3:30 p.m. today, Friday, the 20th of August, 2021. The delivery is about 1/8 of an order of 800,000 placed by the government of this country. Brown also stated that the delivery of the single-dose vaccine was a result of the intensive dialogue, and they love to use this word, you know, diplomacy. Dialogue and diplomacy. You see, I will tell you something. I will pause right there. I will tell you something. You think they're begging for you? No, them are begging for you. They love to use this big word. Dialogue and diplomacy. What the hell does diplomacy and dialogue have to do when tax money, tax paying dollars are being spent to purchase the vaccine for the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago? What dialogue you want to use? What dialogue you want to use? What diplomacy you want to use? Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. If the Supermarket Association, if the president of the Supermarket Association got the okay from the health minister, Terence D'Alsing, to go ahead and purchase the vaccine, let me tell you something. It was no big dialogue. It was no big diplomacy. No. It wasn't all that. You see, anywhere money paying and it's taxpaying citizen money paying, don't go and use no big word as diplomacy. I could tell you that I am a businessman, Dr. Amory. I am a businessman. You are a doctor, an epidemiologist doctor. You see, sometimes we just get carried away by the big words. We just get carried away. They love to use the term diplomacy. What the hell diplomacy have to do with this? Huh? What the hell does diplomacy have to do with it? So every country around the world where they're using dialogue and diplomacy. Diplomacy. Now let's talk now. It's all the money that's spending. All the money have to pay back loan. We're talking about dialogue and diplomacy. Diplomacy, my tail, diplomacy. I am a businessman. If the president of the Supermarket Association did get the okay to go ahead and purchase vaccine for the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, it would not have any diplomacy in it. It would have had communication skills. Not diplomacy. Not diplomacy. And if the president, if Mr. Rajiv did come and say, Saeed, you know, we need a little help, we need a little funding, I would have said, my pleasure, my friend, I was glad to be part of it. Without any big diplomacy. Let's get carried away, Trinidadians. All of this get carried away by big words. But I here to break it down to all you. Brown also stated that the delivery of the single-dose vaccine was a result of intense dialogue and diplomacy led by Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley during his chairmanship of CARICOM with South African President Cecil. Hey, this man has make me laugh sometimes, you know, serious, you know. Let me tell you something, is one man all can't walk over, is Saieed Ali, you know. And there's one man all can't use no big words are wrong, is Saieed Ali, you know. I'm telling you that. Use them big words when you're dining with your family. Big words all you could use. 24 letter words all you could use. Not when you comment to me, and not when you comment to the citizen, and citizen had to pay back loan where all you take. Caller, good night.
Good night, Saeed.
My friend, go right ahead.
Yeah, Saeed, I want to highlight two topics, right? The first topic is the Wasa boy. Wasa come and dig in the road, way down the Rocha Douglas Road.
Exactly where on the Rocha Douglas Road?
From Rocha Douglas Road, straight down to Pinal and Rock Road.
Okay.
And the digging the road, and you cover your back, and when rain fall and you pass with your car, you're hitting the trench them and you're busting your tire them, boy.
Do a little video and send it for me.
Right? And the next thing is, we just want to know how long the vaccine will be in a human body for. You understand?
I understand what you're saying.
In Canada, they say the vaccine lasts in 3 months in a human body. You understand? So we would like to know how long it lasts in a human body. Because to get the vaccine is a good thing. It's not a bad thing. You have to take the vaccine.
Yes.
But how long it lasts? You want to know like how long it lasts.
I understand. My friend, over the weekend, I will try to source the information, and Monday night, hopefully, I will let the citizens know that.
Okay.
I do want to thank persons that have been guiding me when I got my vaccine. I want to thank my cousin Kathy. She is a nurse. I want to thank the president of the Supermarket Association, Mr. Rajiv Dipti. I want to thank his wife. Let me tell you something. They have been generous enough to guide me through this whole system. What to expect, what not to expect. So I do want to thank them publicly. Yes, they did it in privately. But God said when you do something in private, He will reward you openly. He would reward you openly. So tonight now, I want to thank them publicly. Two individuals. And I do want to thank all the other doctors who have called me to find outside how you're feeling. We saw you got the vaccine, how everything with you. Are you okay? Can we do anything for you? Can we supply you with anything? I do want to thank the countless doctors who have been calling to find out for the last 2 days, day and night. I do want to thank you so much. So viewers, call a good night. Fire Friday, feel free to call in. Highlight your topics. Caller, are you there?
Yes, good night, Saeed.
Go right ahead, my dear.
I would like to let you know that Bagatelle Digger Martin have no water for about 3 weeks now. I am calling whole day, every day. They say someone by the name of Roma Ramdeen is in charge of that. If she's listening, I would like her to get in contact with whoever is doing the work to put on the water. Bagatelle have no water 3 weeks.
Wow.
How are you going to wash and clean and sanitize and do the things that they tell you to do? This is ridiculous, Saeed.
I understand.
It is ridiculous. It's 3 weeks. I keep calling all the time. Every time you call, you're getting a different answer.
Wow. That's in Diego Martin.
The Rowley area, I tell them to come out and protest, and they would not come out and protest because they're nasty.
All right, my caller. All right, my friend. I understand. But this is the PM area and no water. PM, shame, man. I thought you loved the people in your constituency because they voted for you. They voted for your party. So how come you can't treat them good now? You're going against? Let me tell you something. I've been telling you all, every 5 years you all hold the power and they're coming down to you, the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. Let me tell you something. For all to exercise that power with some chicken roti and 1 or 2 bottles of rum and a DJ truck passing and some ladies dancing and what? Let me tell you something. That's the gig every 5 years, and we so clownish. We so clownish. We go one night and wine and jam and eat out all the curry and thing. and we suffering for 5 years after. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? We like it so. Government has proposed an extension to the state of emergency, that is the SOE, by a further 3 months, and a debate will head to Parliament next Wednesday and will not require opposition support to be passed. Listen carefully. Attorney General Faraz Al-Rawi stated that the SOE need to be extended for health reasons and to allow the continuation of the current vaccination drive. He added that the state of emergency has bore a significant amount of fruit with regards to the hours of the curfew, which currently runs from 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. Al-Rawi said any adjustment to the hours was the remit of the Prime Minister, Dr. Keith Rowley. Now, viewers, two questions for you all. What did Trinidad and Tobago gain by the SOE? And how did it help our economy? Two questions, just two questions. Caller, good night.
Good night, sir.
My friend, go right ahead.
These are very, very relevant points. Now, first of all, let me touch a little. This Delta variant, that whole plane load of people that came, how is it that they single out just two? What kind of test was done? What about the other people on board that plane? What about the immigration and custom official? You know, you're hearing nothing about this. So, you know, it begs the question whether anything this government says is true. Secondly, now, on the point of this SOE, what has been achieved? You know, they come with graph and all this kind of foolishness. You know, I cannot think why people would be so foolish now. When you say that the government is in charge, let us remember it's less than a third of the population voted for them, you know. Less than a third of the population. So how can less than a third of the population impose their will on 2/3 of the population? This 2/3 of the population need to agitate and get this government out of power. Now look at white-tail discrimination. When Greenville had flood, the Prime Minister himself was there and made it that this would not recur again. Look at St. Helena. People was 3-4 feet in water.
Correct.
Which government minister, anybody went to the assistance? Is it because of a certain ethnicity? Is it because of a certain ethnicity there? Is it that why you're suffering them? It is the funds, the money of of this country belongs to its citizens and people. This is not Rowley's money. And with regards to the vaccination, they are not coming with the whole truth. What about the side effects? Come out and tell people what it is, you know. These are the things we need to look. Thank you very much.
Thank you, my friend. Some serious questions there. Now, despite the hesitancy by some parents about having their children vaccinated, Education Minister Dr. Nayan Gasby-Dolly have stated that both vaccinated and unvaccinated students will be welcomed back into school next month. Now listen this. All the businessmen in Trinidad and Tobago who keep telling their workers, if you're not vaccinated, you cannot come to work, or you have to produce a PCR test every 2 weeks. What will I get now? What will I get now? How will I benefit from it now? Look what the Education Minister came out and said. Whether they're vaccinated or they're unvaccinated, they could come to school. What will I get? What will I reap from it? What will I reap from it? How many citizens now, unvaccinated, go into that store where your son and your daughter might have to leave their job because they choose not to get the vaccine? Because whether you get the vaccine or not, you can still contract COVID-19. So let's talk now, no? Talk now. Does the vaccine prevent you from getting a heart attack while having the COVID-19 on you? No. Does the vaccine prevent you from getting pneumonia fever while having COVID-19 on you? No. You could still die. You could still die. You see, for many people, we have a lot of book sense. We have a lot of paper sense. We went university, we get degrees, we get bachelor degrees. We're big in the business and education-wise. But common sense, do we have any? Do we have any? So the education minister now came out and is saying to all the businessmen and them now, and the women who forcing workers, no vaccine, no job. All the little children now going against the unvaccinated children. What all they have to say? Keep all the children home? Who lost in me? Not Saieed. Not Saieed. Lack of knowledge is a serious thing. Lack of knowledge is a serious thing. You know who is perish for lack of knowledge? The one who decide to play stupid and dotish. They are the ones that suffer. Call a good night.
Good night, Saieed. This is the imitation vaccine vehicle, and I hear you say it's Fire Friday. I want to read it to Flambeau Friday. Listen to this. Let me light a fire. I heard the vaccine vehicle open a school down in Chatham, and during his discourse he said the UNC built 106 schools and they leave the burden and the payment, the outstanding payments for his government. What kind of dotishness that man is saying, boy? Does people understand? Do people understand what that man's saying? You have to invest in your younger ones. So if he doesn't understand that, how can he be our leader? I mean to say that is the most dotish thing I ever hear, you know. So how you go? You have to make some huge investments for the future. We don't want nobody to come again. So we have to educate them. Now the other thing is you asked about the extension of the SOA. You want to know what benefits it brought to the country? Zero. You know what it did to the country? Mash up the economy. You know why? A lot of people have been put on the breadline. You know why everybody rushes to get the vaccine for the school children? Because school is an area that parents don't have to look after the children between 8 to 4. So when the children at school, they are comforted. So they could go outside and look for a job to provide for the children. It had nothing to do with the government on the right cause. No. When they go to Parliament to debate this, I want all the parliamentarians to get their 45 minutes to speak. I don't want them to put plastic out and truncate the speaking time, because I want some metrics. I want the prophet Taipan to tell us how the murder rate going to go down and give us statistics. How we going to reduce it at the end of that? I want them to tell me how the cases in COVID will be reduced at the end of the 3 months. And I want them to tell them the death, how it will basically be reduced to the end of November. Right now, after 3 months, we have those metrics. We have 1,200 deaths. We have 40,000 cases. So the next 3 months, we want to use that as the benchmark and find out where it's going. They have to come and give us tangible numbers. They can't be only rah-rah-rah-ing and motor-mouting and massy-mouting. They'll have to give us. Tell Faris when he comes to speak, no motor-mouth. Give us it raw, give us the metrics, so at the end of the 3 months, we could judge them, and we're going to prove that they continue to lie. I go on, have a nice.
Thank you, my friend. Now, question on how the Ministry of Education intends to address the issue of vaccinated students mixing with the unvaccinated. The ministry said there will be no discrimination of either category. Well said. Well said. I applaud you. I applaud you, Minister, for saying that. Only the clowns out here want to fight the vaccinated and the unvaccinated. Only the clowns. Let me tell you something. All of you studying about vaccinated, unvaccinated. Businessmen studying about if you don't have vaccination, don't come to my workplace. But the thing is, you know, if an unvaccinated person come to spend $1,000, you know there would that person leave their place? Do you know them would that $1,000 leave their shop or their store or their food place? They want that $1,000. But it's coming from an unvaccinated person. So they don't mind. They don't mind the unvaccinated person could come in. But the unvaccinated person carrying the coronavirus, you're coming into a vaccinated staff, what would happen? Would it spread or it would not spread? When the epidemiologist doctor came out and said, even though you're vaccinated with your 2 shots, you could get COVID-19. So this is the level of literacy. This is the level of the education from business people in Trinidad and Tobago. This is why I do ask people to fund my program, you know. Because when you start talking your nonsense, I must be able to put you in your place without studying. You know what, he give me 10,000 ad, and if he take it back, how I go pay my worker and how I go pay my bill? Man, keep your 10,000 and boil it and drink the tea from it. I could say that. Saieed could say that. Because I'm not depending on your 10,000 to pay my workers or to pay my bill. How I talk? I talk with like a man with power. I talk like a man with authority. This is why people love Real Talk with Saieed Ali. You know why? I ain't putting water in my mouth. I don't have to depend on somebody to pull an ad. No. By the grace of God, by the grace of God, you never know we could run our own TV station. By the grace of God, you never know. You never know what's in the making. You never know. I done in talks with certain high officials in countries of the Caribbean for Real Talk Credit Union to birth in their country. Already in talk. Let me tell you something. When you want to be a businessman, you don't discriminate. You do not discriminate. That's number one. Number two, be an open-minded person. Be an open-minded person. That's where you have to be. You see, I will tell you something. How do you think the 1% became so powerful in Trinidad and Tobago? How do you think? How do you think? You think they bragged them out? No, they use the common sense that they have. And they made their money and they build their business. They made their money and they build their business. And they keep them out shut. And they build their business and they build their business. Today they're supplying you. With what? With demands. They're supplying the market with demands. Demand of what? The market. People in the market depending on fried chicken, on fried chips, they dependent on clothes, they dependent on car. So we the population, we the citizens, we need that. And what they're doing, they're supplying the demand to us the citizens. So they will always be on top. Why? Because they are wise. They're not discriminating and they're not bragging them out. They are for business. They are for business. When I said to you, the people, I don't beg people to sponsor my show. You know why? Because of now. Because of this. So when you start with your donkey logic, you understand? I could be able to put you in your place without having to worry who pulling out an ad. Man, take your 10,000 and put in a pot of boil with a little sugar and a little milk, and when you don't, drink tea with it. Caller, good night.
Very good evening to you, Mr. Saieed.
To you, my friend.
I would just like to continue from where the caller who called himself the unofficial vaccine vagrant. When an election happens, the party that wins have to understand they would inherit debts, they would inherit certain things. It's about a continuity.
Yes.
You have to continue. It's not about, well, what them bill and what we bill. It's taxpayers' money using anyhow. Right? So it's not about who bill it. It's taxpayers' money billing it.
Well said.
So why, when the PNM won the election, they didn't say, well, you know, look at that, these people leave. Let me leave them in power until they pay off the debt and then we will take over.
Correct.
That ain't going to happen. All these people who get flooded out in St. Helena and all over the country, I feel for these people. I really feel for these people. Do you think now is the right time for these people to go to the bank and take a loan to buy a new car? Or try and replace all the damaged furniture, fridge, what have you in the house? That might be the smarter thing. So dear Mr. Rowley, I know how you feel about Japan and about culture. Right now in a pandemic, nobody is coming to listen to nothing. Right now is not the right time to spend $17 million to pay for a panyard. People need assistance and they need it like yesterday. Right? So we always keep doing the crazy opposite thing all the time. Now is not the time to do that. When the time reaches to do it, go ahead. Go ahead and do it. Take taxpayers' money and do it.
True.
But now is not the right time. I am so disappointed with this government. It's unbelievable. All the best.
Thank you, my friend. So while we stay on these things, the University of the West Indies in St. Augustine campus have stated that only fully vaccinated students will be allowed accommodations at the campus. The UA added that the management has decided, listen carefully here, the management has decided it would not be mandating staff and students to be vaccinated until such time as the matter is legislated. UWI St. Augustine Campus Pro Vice Chancellor Professor Brian Copeland urged that more members of the community who are vaccinated, the greater chance of suppressing the COVID-19 virus and other mutations. You think getting the vaccine will prevent you from getting COVID-19? No, it does not. If you have a heart problem and you get the COVID-19 vaccine, you could still get COVID-19. And you know what? You want to know what? You could still die of a heart attack. You could still die of kidney failure. You could still die of pneumonia fever. So sometimes I just want to know all these big professors and legislators with all these big degrees and things. Sometimes I just wonder sometimes. I went and took the vaccine, the first shot. Do you think it is helping me with the shortbread if Sahara dust comes into Trinidad? No, it is not. If somebody comes into my office and they have COVID-19, Saeed will contract it. So I don't see what is the big fuss about vaccinated and unvaccinated. When vaccinations expire in August and expire in October, what going to happen? What going on happen? Caller, good night.
Good evening, Mr. Saeed.
To you, my friend.
Saeed, you know we're sitting in Trinidad here and looking at Haiti and wondering how they reached that status. Why it is these people in this position? But it had President of Haiti, Papa Doc, Jean-Bertrand Agassi, this Moise that get assassinated. All these people was the Haitian version of the PNM. Pauli, Eric Williams, Manning and all them. they were the Haitian version of PNM. And Haiti was a first world status country. And with the same mentality that these PNM, Eric William, them had the same mentality there. And they destroyed our country and bring it to zero because of the kind of decision they has been making. You would tell me, in a situation where the country going through this, a man could take $14 million
and
to build a pan theater.
Boy.
Now, if the UNC was in power, and Kamala they come and say, here what?
Boy,
I taking $14 million to build a Tassa tent. You know what happened now? Is yellow banana business right through. They would have murder she. You know, right, it's a little challenge for people to afford finances to send their children to university and things. They cut off the gate. If this man they take that $14 million, he could have helped at least 5,000 students, brilliant students whose parents cannot afford to send their children to university because the finances tough right now. He could have put a little savings and say, here what? All the probably could pay it back in a long-term basis. Look at $14 million here. Parents who going through the pandemic and under pressure, you have access to this $14 million. You might get $100,000 or $200,000 on a small loan to send your child to university, and that will prosper and benefit the country in the future. What this pan thing going to be? You wouldn't believe how upset I am today when I see, and you know the people in this country sitting by and seeing their taxpayers' money go down the drain like that, and they just say nothing. And when you see we reach Haiti status, then they gonna look back and say, hey, you know, when all this was going on, we should have stand up, we should have stopped it. But we just sit and wait, and then you go say, when our grandchildren now have to be like what's going on in Haiti right now, we go be in hell right and be looking up and saying, you know, we should have stopped this demon and these wicked people who wasting our money so that our children would have a better future. But we are the ones to blame for what is the future to come, because we are such a coward, hypocrite, and all we like to do is sit down and talk while demon pilfering out all the population. Remember when he say the country only have money for 3 days?
3 days.
And that man's priority was to take millions and buy painting.
Money for 3 days and a $3 million painting they buy.
Exactly. This is the mentality of the man that governing this country, and we sit by. Let me tell you something. Haiti, we comment. Have a good night, Mr. Society.
Thank you, my friend. So, viewers, I just want to encourage you all tonight. You have your little savings. You want to get a good reward. You want to get a bigger earning. Contact our office. Contact our office from 3% to 3.5%. The highest rate ever paid out in any financial institute in Trinidad and Tobago. And I could stand here and say it proudly. I could stand here and say it proudly. I have an establishment. I have an establishment. And for your safety, let me tell you something. Caller, just give me 1 minute. And for your safety, viewers, I run in Real Talk production, spending over $1 million a year to run a production. You think I would have 5 cents, I want to spend 10 cents? Think about that. Think about that. You think about it. That's common sense. So all you feel that was Bacchanal, listen to this Bacchanal. Caller, good night. let me get carried away. Caller, good night.
Good night, Mr. Ali.
Go right ahead.
Back out and in the pink of health.
I didn't hear what you said clearly.
It's good to see you back out and in the pink of health.
Oh, thank you so much. God is good. God has been good to me.
Oh, yes, I know. You do. Tonight I want to touch on the money that is spending to buy vaccine.
To buy vaccine, yes.
The money being spent is taxpayers' money, and they are doing as though it's coming out of their pocket, and they're doing us a favor.
Yes.
Right? It's not a favor you're doing us. You're doing a job that you were put there to do. And if you cannot do your job, step down. Simple as that. But don't be dictating to us, and that is where this is headed. We already reached halfway through the dictatorship already, because Mr. Rowley, and I say Mr. Rowley tonight because to tell you the truth, I have no respect for that man no more.
Thank you, my dear. You see, viewers, I know when I present myself in front of a camera, millions of people are looking at me. And they are looking at my performance. And they are looking at the way I speak. But most of all, they are looking at what I could get done for the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. And thus far, Real Talk with Saieed Ali have been holding a track record of pushing for legislations and amendment and getting it passed. Caller, good night.
Good night.
My friend.
Mr. Ali, you have been doing a very good program.
Thank you so much.
I want to ask you a question and then I want to say something. Mr. Ali, in this country of Trinidad and Tobago, that we are living in, the PNM ain't have the answer, the UNC have the answer. So I want to ask you one question. Do you believe it's one God it have running the whole entire universe?
Go ahead.
That's the question I want to ask. If you believe that it's one God it have, I believe it's one God it have. I want to know if you believe the same thing.
No, I will tell you something. You wouldn't worship any way I worship in, and I wouldn't worship any way you are worshiping. Right? And if we're going to start a religious thing on our show, it will take with the rest of the night. You understand? So the religious and who believe what? I don't go down that path. I don't go down that path. But I do thank you for calling in, and I do respect you, your calls, your opinion, and you being an elderly person. So, listen to this back on Trinidad and Tobago. Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley have stated that persons need to get real about government revenues, as he warned that cars will in due course be designed without internal combustion engine. He stated that persons should not await funding from the government from oil and gas revenues, but instead act to help to diversify the economy. The PM urges persons to stop talking about diversification and instead start to act on it.
So what we have to do now is stop talking about diversification and start diversifying our economy. Because a day will come when the market for what we've lived on will not be there, or if it is there, it will not be as substantial and as sustainable as it used to be.
However, he lamented that some effort at the diversification by past PNM government had failed after a change of government, including the $44 million Labdepco estate. Rowley then added that he had higher hopes for the Desperado Theatre, which he said was an investment in our people. He further appealed to the Desperados members to note that the $14 million is the cost of the theater was coming from taxpayers.
I caution you, I plead with you to make it a place where you remember the investment of the taxpayer, because this 14 million is not government money. It is a contribution of the widow and the businessman and the non-PAN player, and even those who think that the PAN ought not to be encouraged as a national instrument. It is their money. You are the custodian.
Citizens of Trinidad and Tobago must get real about government revenues. We must not depend on oil and gas. When all shut down Petrotrin, when you shut down the refinery, you all were thinking about government revenues? Caller, good night.
Good night. I'd like to touch on two topics.
Go right ahead.
Right, one of the topics would have been the two vehicles that were bought for EDPM that for state of emergencies, and these vehicles, you never saw these vehicles on the road at all.
I'm listening, go ahead.
Right, and that was one topic. And the next topic, there's a next thing where they allocated money for the relief grant for salaries for businesses. But yet, many citizens, many people who lost their jobs, a lot of people who have NIS and pass the criteria for these relief grants, right? They never saw the money, never saw anything, and they continuously saying money keeps being spent behind the citizens for the grants. So I just want to find out where is the money going? Where is all this money that's disappearing?
Well, Colin Members said they spent $5 billion. So I wanted to know if the $5 billion that they spent was for 2020 or 2021. Because for 2020, they claim that they spent $18 billion. So I want to know which part of $5 billion comes in. If it's $5 billion or $18 billion that they spent, we don't know. We don't know. So that is why I asked him on a previous show, could you come out into the public and tell us or give us a breakdown on how the $5 billion was spent? That is all we want. We want proof. According to the Prime Minister, it's taxpaying citizens' money. The citizens want proof. We want proof. Epidemiologist Dr. Avery Hines confirmed that pregnant women who have passed their first trimester can now access the Pfizer vaccine. This after the ministry received the go-ahead, the green light, from stakeholders, including representatives from the various various regional health authorities, such as the public and private sectors, PAHU and CAFA. He said that more details on the rollout to this group will be made available soon.
There was universal consensus that the ministry is indeed in a position to recommend the use of this Pfizer-BioNTech COVID-19 vaccine for pregnant women beyond the first trimester of pregnancy. Additional details on the rollout, the communication plan, the way in which this will be executed will be brought to you by the Director of the Directorate of Women's Health in a subsequent press conference.
Caller, good night. Hello?
So Ali, I'm sorry I had to call back. I had one more thing to say. You're seeing about a paniard when you have people marooned in their houses in flood and they have no food to eat?
Paniard important.
And then you're saying we need to get real? What you really talking about? Mr. Diyal Singh collected his Johnson & Johnson vaccines this morning. With his overall and coverall and stuff, you know, he liked the pictures.
Yes, yes. He dressed for he dressed for the cameras.
He always paparazzi, but what you really say you're doing, a pharmacist, what it is you really say you're doing, right? We are here suffering. Nobody's thinking about, Mr. Ali, I go to collect my seed up and I don't ever get anything in it.
Wow.
Every time I go, they say, we don't have this, we don't have this. So out of 5 items, I'm getting 1. And then when you do take 1 out of that list, you can't take it to another pharmacy because it shows that you went already.
Yes.
So you're not getting the rest of the items. And this is what we have to face on a daily basis with this health sector.
Thank you, my dear.
Thank you, Mr. Ali.
Now, viewers, Hines said that currently there is no discussion about a third shot or a booster for vaccinated people. Hines said that locally, the focus was on insulating as many people as possible with first and second dose. Trinidad and Tobago, let me tell you something. We depend on the authority to guide us the proper way. That is what we depend on, the authority. Because we would say they are ministers. They would have all the the legal background, knowledgeable background, medical background, common sense background, but yet they lack. Yet they lack leadership. Yet they lack governance. Yet they lack proper plan. Just imagine the education minister came out and said, whether they're vaccinated or they're unvaccinated, they're going to school. Now, by making that statement now, it leaves some of the business people in Trinidad and Tobago who are forcing their staff to take vaccine, otherwise stay home. It make them look like clowns. It make them look like clowns. What proof do they have that their vaccinated staff cannot get COVID-19 virus? What proof do they have that they themselves cannot get it? What proof do I have that when I take the vaccine, I cannot get COVID-19? What proof? I am getting it just like an unvaccinated citizen or an unvaccinated individual. So you see this method that we have, that we're going about, that, you know, if we don't get the vaccine, this could happen and that could happen. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Whether you have the vaccine or you ain't have the vaccine, you could contract COVID-19. If you have heart problems, you get your vaccine, you could still contract COVID-19. So the businessmen and them who forcing their staff to take it, let me tell you something, God help all you, you know. Serious. God help all you. Come August, when vaccine become expired. Come October, when vaccine become expired. What you all going to do as businessmen? Shut down your business because we don't have vaccine again? That's where you're going to shut down your business? Well, then you should have shut it down since the start of the pandemic. And remain closed. Like I said, common sense is a serious thing. Common sense is a serious thing. So a guy messaged me last night and asked me, Said, what you're fighting for? Monday night I go show a picture of the individual. You see, he said that he messaged me a word that I will have to get authorization before I use the word on TV. You know what I call cyberbullying? What is cyberbullying? We have about 3 minutes left on our show tonight. What is cyberbullying? And I want to know if that individual, if he is married or if he have children, and sending text message with an intention to bully someone. But nevertheless, Mr. Terrence from Princestown, Monday night I will put you up on TV. And I want your family and your friend and your wife and your children. I don't know if that is the mentality you have to teach your children from at a young age cyberbullying. So over the weekend, Terrence from Princestown, who sent me the message, you know, and asked what I fighting for, you have from now to Monday to go look up what cyberbullying is all about. And Monday night, I will show Trinidad and Tobago the message you sent. And ask me what I fighting for. So just before we close, I have stood right here, funding my own production, pushed for about 8 or 9 legislation and amended and got it passed. Even for your wife and your children and your mother and your grandchildren and your sister and your brother. So Monday night viewers, I have a little surprise for you. And those of you who decide, you know, you want to be a bully on cyber, you like to call people names, since you want to be a star on social media, I will make you a star worldwide. You see, there are many things we take for granted in Trinidad and Tobago. Macomé men. How are we breaking down that for the public? How are we breaking down that for the public? How do we explain that to the public? This Mr. Terrence from Princestown area sent me a message on our Facebook. Said, he's a Macomé man. I hope the media forgive me for saying it. So Monday night now, he wants to be a star in a private inbox to me. So Monday night now, I will make him famous. You see, many of you don't know what is cyberbullying. So Monday night now, I will teach you all a little about cyberbullying. You know, when you had to get you a firearm, there is charge for how does it? You have a illegal firearm, you will be charged for intent to do grievous bodily harm with a firearm. They will charge you for intent on carrying a dangerous weapon. You know, you have your intention. So Monday night now, when I highlight Mr. Terrence, I will tell him all the intentional things and all the orchestrated things that he had in his mind. And I want to know if that is what you're teaching your children, to do cyberbullying at a young age. It's sad when I got the message last night, Terrence, Saieed is a Macomé man. Really? But Monday night when I highlight you, your friend and your family and your co-workers will want to know what kind of clown you are. And if that's the mentality you have as a father or as a brother or as an elder in your community, it sucks. It sucks to be a big man. I was going to do it tonight, you know. I was going to do it tonight. But let me tell you something. People in the Princestown area were shocked to know that your mentality. But nevertheless, Monday could be a mashup Monday. We out of time for tonight? So viewers, we are out of time for tonight. But nevertheless, fathers, let me tell you something. When you are a father, you set a standard. You have a role model to follow. You don't do something in the light and come on in the dark and come and teach your children something else. You don't do that. I just practice what I preach right here on national television with my two sons. You know why? I am a public figure. And anything goes wrong with Saieed, it will reflect on my two sons. So Mr. Terrence from Princestown, doodly 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 doo doo doo. We're going to be singing that tune for you Monday night. You brace yourself to call in, you know. And if you tell yourself you're going to take a lawyer for Saieed, I put in here for defamation of character. I'm waiting patiently with my team of lawyers for you. Because you intentionally orchestrated in your mind to do grievously body harm with breaking a person's mental status. And that's just one line, you know. That is just one line. So Monday night you want to be famous in my inbox? I will make you famous worldwide. So viewers, until we meet again, be safe. Enjoy the weekend. Good night.